Okay, let's try that again. What a horrible intro this has been. Hello, yeah, sorry. I've been recording something, which has kind of messed up my settings and I didn't realize it would. There we go, let's try that again. Well, hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today it's Sunday, the Sunday before Christmas, December, what's 25 minus 7? 17th, 18th? Quick maths there, real good. And yeah, this should be kind of a fun episode. Some weird things to sort of run through here. As I mentioned, so currently in the story, Itzli has been captured by the Trinity faction within the Hidden City. He's been taken to a place called the Barracks, okay? A mountain temple, as you can see, here's our main quest, the Eye of the Serpent. So we're going to go and try and break him out. At the same time, we've just collected a relic. And in fact, does Lara have a picture of it? I haven't even thought to check this. Lara's notebook would probably have it, right? Oh, this thing about the family crest is new. Lara's got a relic, which is like a key to hopefully something important to do with the box and the dagger. So it's all coincidentally and nicely lined up for us that we can handle it all at once. So we're going to go with Unuratu, the deposed queen, to go rescue her son, who in theory could be the heir to this whole place. Let's check this out, the Heron and the Eclipse.
Unuratu is the rightful queen of Paititi. After a famine that nearly wiped out the city, her family was ousted from power by the cult of Kukulkan. Her husband, Sayuri, died hunting for food on the outskirts of Paititi. Amaru, or Dr. Dominguez, Sayuri's brother, felt responsible and took control of the city, using resources from Trinity to feed the Paititians until the famine passed. Even though Amaru saved the city, the cult, in his absence, now rules with arrogance and fear. Unuratu and her rebels are fighting to free the city from the cult of Kukulkan and restore its ancient bloodline. Unuratu was raised to believe it was her family's legacy to complete the ritual of the silver box of Ishel and restore the sun for another age.
So there you go. So we got these two competing factions. Each want to do this ritual. And now Lara's in the middle as the wild card. Weird little thing for you all here, okay? The way I control and move these, obviously I'm holding a mouse, right? And I'm holding down left click. And you'll notice that they're rotating. So obviously, if I move the mouse up, we flip it like this. If I move the mouse left and right, we flip it like this. But how do we spin it, you might wonder? You know, it's not like I have another control to do that. So on mouse, the way that it spins is you're supposed to do little circles on the mouse. So if I do little clockwise circles right now, it rocks it like so, and you'll see it spinning. And very often while Lara's speaking, I'll mess with this. And it will start rotating, and I don't want it to rotate. I want to keep it, like, flat. Now, obviously, I can just press Q and reset it, right? But what if you've just rotated it slightly? I want it to go back the other way. The way I do that is if I'm doing little clockwise rotations to spin it like this, I need to do counterclockwise to spin it back. And what you've seen me doing in the footage through all of these is I'll accidentally rotate it, and I can't figure out in my brain how to rotate it back. Like, I don't know whether I've been doing clockwise or counterclockwise, and I just keep making it worse and worse and worse. It's this weird thing that happens in my head, and I'm wondering if anyone else playing this game has ever gone through that. But yeah, if you see me fiddling around like I was during this bit of dialogue there, that's exactly what was happening. So yeah, we've got kind of an exciting episode here. I'm shooting this more at dinner time rather than lunch. Very late start. I've been doing housework. I'm no longer dog sitting, so now's the time to hoover, get all the dog hair up. I've got this problem with my hoover going on at the moment. I also kind of blew a lot of this afternoon because I'm right at the end of Hades. I just need a couple of Steam achievements and then I'm done. Oh, there's a mission nearby. This is quite interesting. I mean, maybe we can collect that. So I did a couple of Hades runs and just a ton of time ended up passing this afternoon. And then I realized I did say to you guys I would go back and cut a montage of us exploring Kuakyaku, which in the last part, I believe I had like 20 to 30% complete. We're now at 71. And if you look here, I basically have all the objectives. So this I don't have because that's the locked treasure chest. But everywhere else, we've kind of got things. This is the challenge. I am still missing a barrel, for what it's worth. This is hunting, tents, you know, campsites, and here we've got a merchant. So then there's a crypt here, which I can't get into because we can't pass. We need the shotgun for that. Everything else is done. So I'm going to play this back for you guys, and we're gonna have some commentary on what I've just done. Now, the funny thing about it is I was anticipating recording my gameplay, and then I was going to edit it up into something snappy. Wow, these guys are actually really interesting to listen to here. But something kind of interesting's happened. A ton of the content I just played before shooting this, I've never done before in my whole life. Like, there was a bunch of, like, really cool, interesting stuff, including a quest and a tomb and a bunch of things. So, it's a bit longer than the last montage, but there's a lot of really fun stuff for us to get into. So, what I'm going to do is look at this rock here, pause, and now I'm going to turn on this video footage, and here we are. That's probably really loud, and I'm really sorry. And we just opened by blowing up a goddamn a barrel there. The volume should be okay here, I hope. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch through. I just did. So this is about 40 minutes ago-ish. I'm really sorry if that barrel was really loud in the video, seriously. And what I have control here, so I've sort of been messing around a little bit with how I want to record this stuff. I can pause the footage at any point I like, and I can, you know... What I'd really love is to be able to fast forwards, you know, slow down certain bits, but we can pause and chat about anything we like as it's going along. But yeah, this is me playing just a little bit ago. I'm going to change my outfit into an outfit actually that I really like. We're going to get a ton of cool skill points and perks and things. It's actually been a really fun part of the game, and it improved my opinion of the title, because really, like, I'm about to do a tomb and stuff I just didn't know existed. Well, I knew existed, but never played before. So yeah, here we got the Explorer outfit. It is a DLC outfit, but I mean, these are the perfect times to change. In the Hidden City we were in just a second ago, if you guys saw. What am I trying to say? You will have seen I was in my, like, primitive clothes again there, but that's, like, just something that automatically swapped. I really like this outfit. It reminds me a bit of, you know, when people go running or they're in tropical, humid environments, they get really sweaty. And, like, this was something I learned a long time ago. I've never really experienced it in real life, but you expect people to get sweaty in the armpits, right, or whatever, but if people sweat a lot around their face and their upper body, they end up having, like, this wet patch around their chest, and this outfit has that too. It actually looks like kind of really dirty clothes, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's alright. So yeah, first I just gather a couple of relics. This is obviously the pink house that we just did the Abbey quest with. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be crazy if there was a document in here the whole time and I just didn't realise. But it's not that. It's actually like 2 doors down. This little shack here with this yellow chair. And sneakily in this corner. I mean, what a horrible little place. We have an offer from Trinity.
Continue to restrict the distribution of supplies. When we come through the area, it's better for everyone if your people are more concerned with their next meal or their child's fever, rather than with what's happening outside the village. As promised, once our investigation in the area is complete, we will provide monthly rations equal to double what you currently receive from CARE for 24 months, provided you keep up your end of the bargain. Cordially, Estella Diaz, Director of Community Outreach Programs, Order of Trinity.
So look at this. They're clearly outreaching to someone within the town who's like starving them out, creating artificial problems for the villagers so that they won't snoop around and realize what Trinity's up to. And that's such a horrible, like, disgusting thing to do. But there is this two-sided thing where, you know, we saw that Dr. Dominguez does like people in this area world. He does fund them and stuff. So I like that they add that little note in there with Trinity where it's also, okay, after we've done this, we're going to give you a bunch of money and resources. So hopefully it's a net positive. So you can kind of see how overall they're trying to be good. Or maybe you could just say it's a carrot on a stick that's supposed to incentivize them and it's all nefarious and it's all nasty. By the way, I don't know if anyone in the live chat can do this for me, because people in the regular comments, it will be too late. If you can confirm that you can actually hear the audio, that would be really nice, because I've tweaked a few things here. I'm a little bit worried it might not be working, so... That would just be awful if while Lara's reading all these documents and notes and collecting relics and things, I'm sitting here listening to it and you guys can't even hear. It's just awkward silence as far as you guys are concerned. That would suck. So do let me know. And if it is silent, then
You're spoiling the reception.
then I'll resolve it. So yeah, I came to this guy in this house and I saw he had this icon.
Same.
And he says the answer's the same. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't remember the setup to this. So we're actually in the middle of a quest here. Oh, you can hear it, but it's a bit low. That's perfect. Thank you for that feedback. I'll turn it up a bit for you guys then. So, yeah, I don't remember. We're in the middle of a quest, okay? Now, here's the idea. It's that some mercenaries nearby have taken people out of the local labor force, and some of them are very young, okay?
Sure would be great to get these thieves out of here.
Well, I say mercenaries, he says thieves. So we can ask a couple of people about this, and this inspired. I thought, okay, what's going on? And yeah, as you can see here, we have this quest called Invasive Species, and it says talk to Marco. There's also Taki's dice over in the Hidden City, but it's invasive species we're mostly interested in. And when I mouse over it on the UI, you can see we do get this waypoint, this green waypoint. That actually is back at, like, the original bar where we were chatting with Abby and so on. So I do complete this quest here. I think I have done this in a previous playthrough, like probably my very original playthrough in 2018. I did this particular quest, but it was really refreshing and stuff to play it today. So I thought it was this guy, but it's totally not.
Up to never to ask her out.
This is this guy really sad that he's not been able to get with Abby.
Anything could happen.
Don't worry, Jonah's not there anymore.
Marco.
Why? For what?
I just want to talk to him.
He doesn't want any trouble.
I'm not looking for trouble. I'm looking for work.
Work? Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
So, you're Marco?
Tell me Omar didn't send you here to mess with me? If any of those animals hurts my son,
Marco, I'm not with Omar. Believe me. What's this about your son?
I blew out my knee, so Omar took Pablo to replace me at the dig site. Said I was HR now and that it was my job to find a replacement. Otherwise,
He'd keep working your son.
yeah. I'm worried he's just gonna keep Pablo up there, even if I bring him someone.
Well, it's a good thing you've just hired someone.
You? Really? You do that?
We wouldn't want to disappoint the boss, would we?
Thank you. If you see Pablo, please tell him I'm here.
So it's a quest to rescue this guy's son, Pablo, who, from the context of that conversation, we can't really tell how old Pablo is, but I'll tell you now, it's a very little boy, okay? So we should be very invested in this. I don't usually like talking about this kind of thing, but it's weird. Doesn't Lara's face look really plasticky there? I don't know whether it's the outfit. Obviously, we've seen from the, like, Tomb Raider, the classic.
Although drinking and sweating helps to break up the day.
Yeah,
You're not a local?
No, I work a ship that blew into some rocks just outside town. Storm came out of nowhere, sunk the damn thing.
This guy doesn't really have anything too interesting to say. I like the idea of that ship, and maybe that's what we could have salvaged when we were swimming around in the waters near here or whatever. But yeah, so we've seen from the classic outfits that they can completely change their face, and we've seen as well, you know, like, if you wear the 2013 outfit, you'll change to that face as well. Is that a part of this outfit? It kind of sucks. One thing I do like, though, is her face has, like, frown lines and stuff on it, you know? She looks a little bit... I say she looks plasticky, but she also does look a little bit more like a real person, you know, with actual blemishes and stuff. And the whole frown line thing, I think, if the next game we go to, she's going to be in her 30s now, I'd like to see that, you know? I'd like to see her be a little bit more... I don't know, lived, is that the right phrase? So there's this relic here, which I've been trying to get the whole time. I do warn you, this footage is going to have me constantly tabbing onto the map. Like, constantly. It's just a thing we're going to have to live with here. I mean, what else do you want from me? And I was trying to get this relic the whole time. Turns out it was in this shed. And I did not expect to get a burial doll.
Traditionally woven from fabric and stuffed with reeds and grains, the burial dolls are frequently shown holding something in their hand, like a musical instrument or a ball of yarn. In this instance, the doll is holding a toddler, perhaps signifying that the deceased was a mother.
But of course it is a replica. Yeah, it just in a room like this, I never would have expected it. You had a weird moment. We had to find the hidden information, and who the hell knows what it is. And I did have a bit of an awkward moment there where I thought, well, we'll look up her skirt. Just in case. I mean, not to be perverted, but literally just because there's got to be something somewhere.
Modern materials. I suppose Paul Veneer could have made it as a promotional toy.
It's nice here to see that we hear a little bit more about Paul Veneer, who we were just kind of discovering, really, on the previous episode. But had we found this earlier, we could have got those details a little bit quicker, you know? So the one big thing I've got my eye on here is that relic way off on the left. And on the previous part, we saw that as well, and we were trying to get towards it, but it was a weird question of how do you do so. I'm not really sure what I did differently today. I just followed the mission, and by following the mission to save the little boy... There, look, I love this.
Those guys have pushed Marco so hard. He can barely walk.
Even they're chatting about the mission we're doing. Just by following this, we will get that relic. Here I speak to this old lady again, and I'm pretty sure we heard this before.
Don't let how it looks fool you. This is a good place. Difficult, but good.
Your garden seems to have survived the storm.
Luck and hard work. A lot of people pitched in to grow it, so they all came to protect it too.
So I'm pretty sure we heard that. I like that little story. The skirt looks like a ribbon skirt women would wear here. I mean, it looked nice enough. And I wasn't surprised that when I like tipped it upside down, it was just, you know, cotton there or whatever. It didn't look like it was hollow or anything, or really could hide something. But that's one of those annoying relics where there's not actually anything of particular to look at. It's just a question of messing around until you see the thing. So here, we clearly came here before because we have found that mural before.
What is that?
But I don't think we came any further.
God.
Please, help me.
Are you okay?
You're coming after me?
Are you Pablo?
Jess.
It's okay. Your father sent me. He's at Abby's. Go meet him there. I'll take care of these guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, see, look at this. Look at this little moment here. This is a nice, sweet hug.
Get out of here.
But I feel like, you know, you can never look at a moment in these games. By the way, look at that trail in the mud. This game is really cool. I love how the NPC walked through there and left his own trail. It, like, felt really good. Also, our outfit works perfectly for wading through mud and stuff here. But yeah, you can't ignore any little thing. And I feel like that moment there with her hugging the kid, again, is sort of, are we going to see motherhood and stuff be a part of this story?
Shit.
What the hell got into it? He used to bring us 10 people a week.
Ask me, it's that brother of his. Always unionization this and justice that. Wow, wow, wow.
Fucking snowflake.
I like how he calls him a snowflake. Like, it's so cartoonishly over the top. But look, enemies to fight, guys! I can show off some of our perks. So there you go. That was a poison arrow. And that's a poison grenade. Oh, sorry, just regular grenades, I think. No, those are poison ones. And I'm out of bugs now, so I can't even craft anymore. So we'll just have to shoot them down. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit, especially in combat, because you never know. So there you have it. I mean, we just wasted all these guys. It's weirdly structured, this story, because we've already saved the kid. So we're kind of just in a weird moment now where it's like, yeah, let's just go fuck these people up. Right? The other thing we could do is like the stealth kill from a tree or whatever, but there aren't any trees I can see. I happened to turn the corner and find a bunch of these guys. Really bad shooting. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's quite terrible, my gunplay here. Also, engaging that guy with only one bullet in the chamber, also quite terrible. But there you go. That's it. That's the fight's over. By the way, I am going to get into a fight a couple of minutes down the line where I do lose. Here I saw these guys just standing here. I thought they were more mercenaries.
And go back to the village.
Bless you.
But they're not. They're just people. And they're just chilling out. It's so weird, right? It's so weird. We just saw people getting executed. I myself just murdered a ton of people. And then they're just standing around. It's just, I hate to bang on about it, but there is something so wrong with the Survivor trilogy, with like the tonal whiplash you get from this. So anyway, yeah, they're just like, okay, go home. A good thing Lara stopped to chat with them. I mean, Jesus, she could have gunned them down too and not asked any questions. So yeah, there I picked up a can. It taught me another thing you can do, which is craft stuff into it, create an impromptu like shrapnel grenade. Again, it's a mechanic coming over from the previous games. Again, has pretty much no place in Shadow because there's just not enough combat. but I crafted a little one for you guys, so, you know, have fun with that. Have a little bit of a look at it there. And now we're in one of these situations where what we can do is explore around and see if we can find anything to pick up. And I believe there was oh yeah, okay, so I'm tipped off by this relic here. I was just expected to go back to the town now, but the point was to find these relics and things. And I've done this, all of this fighting and this quest, I've done this before. I've done this in 2018. What I hadn't done in 2018 is walk up to this gate and found this little thing in here. I think I just confused myself there a little bit. I thought we were about to enter a big tomb, but we're not. We're just sort of coming into this little back room here. But yeah, so extra pickup. Once again, something you wouldn't expect.
This knife is a cheap plastic replica of those traditionally used to sacrifice llamas in the Inti Raymi or Sun God Festival. It was also occasionally used to perform trepanning surgery. The Inca believed that cutting a hole in the skull could relieve pressure to cure some diseases.
So there you go, trepanning surgery. Remember, what did she call it? Trepanation before? Was that the word? I feel like I might have just invented that and I've forgotten the actual thing. But you remember we saw the elongated skull. Some people mistook it for extraterrestrial activity. There was a hole in it. Well, there you go. We just saw the kind of dagger they'd use. And honest to God, that looks like a blunt spade. I know that that's a plastic replica, right? I get that. But that looked like a blunt spade to me, even if that was real and supposedly sharp. That sounds horrendous to think of someone managing to stab and carve their way through bone of a living person with that. That is just horrendous. So this is really weird. There's like a secret exit to that room, which to me felt like a really classic, cool, like, secret or whatever. But all it does is it gives you this rope to slide down. And by the way, the fact that we're sliding down that there, that influences me to mess up a puzzle later. So let's just remember that little moment there. So I don't know what's up with the structure of the environment there. It's really weird that they have you do that. And there's something about this place that's putting me off. Like, I feel like later we'll find a treasure chest. Like a treasure hunter's backpack or whatever, you know, that illuminates more objectives on the map. And I'm going to discover there were caches or something around here. So here I'm just kind of spinning around looking for other stuff. Looking at the barrels, for example, thinking, okay, is there more I can do with the challenge? I didn't really talk about it, but that exploding barrel earlier, like, I just loaded in here, saw the barrel right next to me. So we're 4 out of 5 at this point, I think, already. And I'm thinking, okay, Kuwakyaku, for those explosive barrels, it has to be on the Kuwakyaku map, but it can't be in the town itself because that's a non-combat region. So this area here, for example, is a perfect place to have one. And in that whole fighting sequence just now, didn't see anything. So I wanted to do a little bit of a double check there. But couldn't really see anything, so hey. Right, so we're walking back through now. I think what's on my mind is to cash the quest in. But since we're on the borders anyway, next time I open my map, I think there's like a little territory we can go to the north. Oh yeah, there you go. They're talking about the little kid. And it's weird. I don't actually, when we cash the quest in, I don't actually think we see him again. Which is a bit of a shame. Oh yeah, we've got all this salvage as well. Well, don't worry. Just a minute ago, I crafted up a ton of cool stuff. When I say a ton of cool stuff, I upgraded our weapons, which already felt incredibly overpowered. So, yeah. Right, so you'll see we've got the crypt on the bottom right, but there's also just a straight up tomb. There's that document up there as well. That'll be one of the last things I do. So I think here we go for the tomb, and it's awesome, guys. I've never done it before. Such a fun part of the game. And I swear, this may not be 100% series by the end. I don't know. But I'll definitely do all the tombs. We will definitely do all of them. This tomb we're going into has kind of like wind and fire as big mechanics. And wind is fun for me because, you know, one of the standout tombs from this whole, like... There you go, that's half the barrel. So you go, I'm just missing one now. One of the standout tombs from this whole reboot trilogy to me is, do you guys remember in Rise, there's that windy tomb? I think it might even be part of the main story, but it's like set on a cliff edge. And there are ferocious winds, like, whipping through it. That I always remember. Like, it stands out in my head so clearly. And it's rare as well. You know, I've Let's Played a lot of this stuff so long ago, I kind of forget even what it was like to LP it. But I still remember Let's Playing that as well. You know, you could go back and watch that episode. I still feel very, very connected to that. And it's weird because it's just one tomb out of a great many, you know. I also remember Baba Yaga reasonably well, I think. So yeah, what we could do here as well is hunt some warthogs and things. But I think I just let them live. Don't really feel like I need the resources here. Look at this. I love the lighting here. Yeah, these guys. Okay, I'm considering it. And I think, nah, do you know what, guys? You're allowed to stay alive. And look, there's dead ones here anyway. We can gather their hide if we really like it. This is a really creepy, gross kind of thing. This concerns me, by the way. This here, I'm still missing the rope ascender, so... Little objective. The reason why I'm still not committing to 100% run through of the game, here you go, here's a backpack, for example, is because there's been quite a few little moments like that now where it's like, okay, I'd like to come to this tomb, finish this tomb, and then just be done, and feel like I don't have to come back. But there's just all these random little bits where it's like, oh, you need this to pass, you need this to pass, which means God knows how many episodes in the future. You know, it could be 3 or 4 episodes. I may have to come back. I didn't really explore the water here very well. It looks like there might be a tunnel to swim down. I didn't look very closely. I think I'm kind of getting conditioned by the game at this point to not do that. Also, look at the roof up there as well. So good. At this point, I was really wrestling with myself. This was about half an hour ago, something like that. And I was thinking I should just pause and this should just be the video. I should just do this with live commentary. Because now I'm totally blind. Big spike pit there, which obviously we don't want to jump into. But I thought, you know what, screw it, let's try it this way. Because this is kind of a way of LPing I've always wanted to do. In fact, I've done so much stuff this year that you guys haven't even seen. It's ridiculous. Another thing I did this summer, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to get people's hopes up or anything. But another thing I did this summer was I shot a video series where it was all like post-commentary like this. To see how fun it was. And I quite like doing videos like this, but I never ended up actually publishing much of it because it never got finished. So we rappel down. Pay attention to the, you see that flag in the background? The shadow of the flag, I should say, waving around? Looked almost like a canine, didn't it, with 4 legs for a second. I don't know if that's a coincidence, because we're actually going to be attacked in a minute by wolves. Well, not wolves, you'll see. It's very reminiscent to like level 1 of the very first Tomb Raider game. Oh, there you go. You will hear one of them bark. And it really shocked me. Here, no white chalk. I don't quite know where to go. Do you guys have an idea? I mean, eventually I figured it out just because of the floor here. Like, usually you can see where the jump is because they have these little, like, ramps. You know, these tiny little suggestions in the terrain in various places. And that's what clued me off here. Did that little jump up as well at the skulls just to see, okay, maybe can we climb up in any way? They don't tend to do tiny little things off the linear path there. Oh, and this was a good place as well because I did manage to collect a lot of these spiders as we were running around. Another crawling sequence.
The oil must be seeping through.
She says the oil there as though there had already been some dialogue in recognition of its existence around here. Look at that. That's so cool. That animation right there. That's like the eel popping out. I've never seen that before. I didn't know that this game had that. You know, it's like when you're underwater and the eel pops out. Oh, really awesome. I mean, very, very fresh feeling to me. So we try this jump. It breaks. And guess what, guys? I'm about to die. Genuinely. Okay, so check it out. I'm calling these coyotes. Have I got the wrong name? So I was like, oh shit, oh my god. But then it was just this quick time event. So I'm like, oh, it's okay. We already killed one. You guys have seen how easy the combat is. There I'm trying to heal, but he interrupts my heal. He takes quite a few slugs. And then another one. Unbelievable. So I just literally got bit in the arse and died. So here I was like, oh, this might act. And I was so happy to die there, guys. It feels so good to actually be in a combat sequence where it's like, oh, I have to think. So here's what I do now, right? I'm like, okay, I don't want to get surrounded. That was my problem. It's just like in real life, you know, the pack surrounds the prey. I go for a poison grenade because I'm still trying to have fun. Terrible shooting from me. I'm so sorry. There you go. We killed 3 of them, and there was a 4th. And now, because I've positioned a bit better, he's dead. So there you go. It's not it's not exactly the most amazing of combat sequences, don't get me wrong. But it's something. And yeah, I seriously, I don't think I've ever fought one of these creatures in this game. Like a pack of red wolves. I mean, what are they? I swear coyote. They're coyotes, aren't they? But yeah, there you go. And look, that's just a lot like the wolves at the start of Tomb Raider 1, right? Anyway, we get a mural. And you see how close we're getting to finishing Quacher level 2.
When the caverns begin to howl, a warrior must descend to ease the torment. If one cannot be sacrificed, then all will die.
So you kind of hear about these Maya people in this area. They had these caves with crazy wind whipping through. And they ended up with this legend that there were like demons in here or something. Oh yeah, here look, a little bit of jank as well. I'm very happy to say I haven't seen any like floaters or weird things going on with the game so far. So I'm totally forgiving of that. Also, this is a side tomb that to me feels like we're in quite obscure content anyway. Probably had a little bit less of a polish pass. Those floating rocks are clearly from where we grabbed the ledge before and then it breaks away. And I think the fact we died in this sequence and then reloaded the checkpoint, that it reset some of the physics that it shouldn't have. So that's a fun thing. Anyway, yeah, so you got kind of this cool idea of the wind affecting people, and they ended up with this supernatural belief about it. And of course, these old civilizations in this area of the world, sacrifice is such a big thing, right? So people were coming here to be sacrificed. And there's kind of a cool little conspiratorial twist we'll learn about, like, those ancient beliefs in this cave. So here I'm stuck. And why am I stuck? I'm thinking, can I crawl through there? But isn't that just a spawn area for the enemies? And it's true. But I'm thinking, okay, well, what do I do? Do I burn my way through? Obviously, we've seen that rope thing over there. And then I realised, and I'm thinking, the reason I'm stuck in air quotes is because I'm thinking, well, that's just for sliding down, isn't it? And then I realised, oh, no, it's not. See, and that's because just a minute ago, we were outside doing that fight, and I was influenced by that, right? So, yeah, you know, just a weird way I got that, like, flipped around in my head. You can obviously climb up and down those. And there we go, we get 100%. We're now fluent.
The elders of the village have lied to us. There is no beast underground. The howling we hear is only the wind rushing out through small caves leading to the surface. They've used fear to control us for too long. Once I make my way out of this infernal sweat bath, I will throw their lies at their feet.
So there you go, there's somebody who's come here, realised there's nothing supernatural, and is mad about it. They kind of like make out like the elders were lying there. By the way, I don't know whether I've ever, while playing this game, got my language proficiency 2 dots up, so it'll be interesting to find a complicated monolith and see what kind of clue it's got for a secret in the area, and what kind of rewards we get from said secret. It suggests there that they specifically lied. I like to believe it was just, you know, hearsay and, you know, beliefs and things changing over generation upon generation over, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And now they have this belief. It's not one person specifically or maliciously lied about a thing. But yeah, I don't know why. I kind of had it. So she's just said that. This is how I exit. And I kind of thought, oh, it's not the end, is it? For some reason in my head, I sort of thought, oh, this whole thing's done now. But of course it's not. You enter the tomb with the big perk and, you know, the big statue you're supposed to press. So, so there is more to do. Here they're teaching us about the wind mechanic. You don't have to be on this log at all. But clearly it blows into us. And I'm thinking at this point, I'm realising, this is just teaching us for... We're going to have a puzzle in a second, and that's clearly teaching us. So I quite like the way that they set that up, because any savvy player could have just skipped the log.
Sholot, god of death. I'll have to get over there.
So here we go. This is the idea of the tomb. There's that document there that I've been eyeballing. And you know what's really weird about the world map there as well? We walked through that tiny tunnel, and it moved Lara's like location on the world map really far. So there's something weird going on with the world map here where you cross a certain threshold and it just warps the pin really far off, like representing where we're standing. So yeah, a simple tomb. This footage is my first time ever doing it. I didn't know I could spin this. I didn't know that thing would go down. I didn't know that these slats would open, allowing the wind in. I had no clue what I was in for here. But the idea is we're on this bridge and we've just got to get across the bridge. And in theory, it would be very easy to cross this bridge. It's just fire blocking our way. That's all. But the question is, how do we put the fire out, or how do we pass it, or whatever? So by opening that, we've got the wind, and it's blowing this. And we had a similar experience to this recently in the main campaign, where obviously, when the wind turns on, this will move. And I kind of figured, okay, I can use this to jump across. There, I was so sure I was going to die. I'm serious. I thought that I'd really screwed that jump up or done it too early or something. I don't know. But it was all good. We obviously have another device here now. Oh yeah, and so I keep trying to collect things and she says she's full up, so I decide to start crafting. And we get an achievement on the go. That achievement was probably quite a long one to get, because that's like 4 playthroughs worth of crafting ammo. Because obviously Steam achievements go, well, maybe they don't. I was going to say they go across campaign to campaign. But yeah, so we open these slats, it puts out this fire. We can now get a little bit further ahead. Now, I could have stayed and messed around with the moving thing, but I figured straight away, well, look, if there's a place we can jump to, let's just go there. And I get kind of I get tricked by the game here just a little bit. Because I'm thinking, well, what's the significance of this location? Clearly, it's a part of the puzzle. Clearly. Is there somewhere I can climb? The jump's too far. You know, if I wanted to jump back to the bridge. And then I see this gold. And I think, this is just a secret little area for a bit of gold. By the way, do you guys notice? We only got 6 gold from that. 6! We're trading in the thousands. So then I think, well, that's all rubble there in front of us. I obviously can't go there. And then I think, well, maybe I need to clear the rubble. But how would I clear the rubble? Well, maybe it's a fun thing where, okay, so I have this idea. We originally opened this wind to put out the fire, not to move that thing. So I'm thinking, okay, let's close the wind again. That's how a lot of puzzles go, right? You trigger something, a permanent change has occurred. So now we can come here without any wind. So what does that mean? And I was curious to realize that the resting place for the swinging pendulum is not over this I was going to say seesaw, balance beam. But like, how does that help us? So, watching the footage back now, it's very clear what's going on. Yeah, okay, so then I realized there's a rope we can attach to. I was going to invite you guys to see what you think. But she can't really move it much. And so what I'm thinking is, okay, we want this to crash into the rubble, obviously. But we want the rope to... Like, how would this work? How would we get into the rubble? And then I think, okay, I probably need the wind... Because it was a bit of a shot in the dark to close anyway. What if we need the wind and a bit of a tug from Lara for it to work out? And finally, I also think... Well, actually, I don't know. Is it dawned on me? Yes, it has. I also think maybe this area isn't just for the gold. Maybe the point is that this area gives me an angle. So we combine all 3 ideas together, basically. Here, I think I do it too early. Yeah, so, you know, just like the original one, the wind comes and goes. So wait for it to be fully extended, pull it, and then it will get out of the wind stream, crash down. I actually thought that was going to miss there. But it clipped it, and there you go. So, a bit of the path done. That's, there's 3 sections to this, and that's 2 out of 3 done. Just 1 more now. I always like these moments in these, like, puzzle sequences, where it's like, okay, we've been taught a bunch of principles, you know. In this case, how the wind works, how the fire works, blah, 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 the rope and so on. We've learned these principles. How are they going to reconfigure them to make another interesting puzzle? Like, it's always fun for me to think of that. And there I closed the window because I guess it might have been blocking my path. I don't know. So obviously we can't go forwards.
Something's holding it in place.
And so here's the twist this time. We can't open the window to let the air in. And the pendulum itself is just blocked in there.
I'll need more power.
It's stuck in too much. Now, Lara's little cue there saying she needs more power. That's kind of a big deal, really. Like, I that really stuck in my head because I thought, you know, they're gonna... Whatever they say out loud, that's a big clue, always. So you want to really pay attention to it. So I was thinking power, I mean... I'm kind of a bit of a brute, to be honest. Whenever I think that, I think, oh, grenades or explosions or something. Because there are times in the game where that matters. Grenades are a weird one, though, because they only come from a DLC. So obviously grenades aren't going to help in some kind of base game tomb, right? But I also think to myself, oh, maybe there's two ways of doing it. Maybe grenades are otherwise helpful. So I'm pretty sure you're going to see me try to blow my way through the wall here. You know, just in case. Yeah, here you are. What's the bet in here, guys? Will it work? Yeah, of course it won't. So I am a little bit stumped here, and I tried to pull it again. Not necessarily think it's going to do anything, but just I wanted to be 100% sure that I'd really tried to shift it as much as it will go in both directions, because you never know with a thing like that. It was just a little bit of double checking. Can't go further up because of the fire. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, what's going on earlier on? It's funny, I only just played this, and I'm giving you commentary right now. I can't remember how to solve this right now. What did I do? So we come back up to the gold area? This seems a bit futile to me right now. This doesn't look right, WP. Go back the other way. I mean, obviously you can't do that jump. I can't believe I've forgotten how I just beat this. I think what I'm thinking here is it's one of the earlier things will become relevant again. But it's all too far away. I mean, I don't see how it would be relevant. It's all too far away, isn't it? Yeah, I remember this moment where I was just thinking there's just nothing to do. There's nothing to interact with. There, I think I was noticing that the original pendulum, obviously you can climb on, but we've already done the climbing bits. This didn't take me long to figure out, so I'm about to figure it out, whatever it is. Oh, I remember what it is now. I remember. Oh, this was tricky for me because it was chalk. I saw this ramp again. You see this ramp? I looked at that and I thought, oh, that looks like you can climb on that. You know, the floor, like, sloping upwards. And as soon as I saw the floor was sloping upwards, I realized, I can probably climb around. Oh, yeah, I've thought of a lot of stuff here. Old me smarter than current me. And I think, yeah, okay, so you can see what I'm doing. I realized, when I was looking back in the earlier part, I realized, what if I connect via rope the two pendulums together? What if I connect them and then open the window? But then it was a question of how do I get there? Then I saw the sloped floor. And this is really elegant as well. I like this. I like how I've connected them via rope because I want to...
Other pendulum moving.
There you go, and Lara gives us the information we already know. There, it looked like I was going to fall. I like how the rope there kind of has a double use. Yeah. So now when we open this, the original one's going to blow, it's going to move, it's going to be the power we wanted, it will knock it out. And I think I stay, because I'm still not quite sure if you can pass or not. So I just close it. And that's the tomb, really. If you guys have any guesses as to what kind of perk we'll get at the end here. Obviously, the whole point here was we still got to open this to get the fire to go. I was quite curious. You got to remember the base game tombs. You know, the grenade launcher was a huge upgrade, but that was a DLC tomb. The base game ones have been a little bit more basic, you know. Less full damage, stuff like that. Some kind of fundamental part of the game probably will improve. Didn't we get one that was more resources? A bit more gold here. Again, only 6 though. I mean, Jesus. There you go, the Hurricane's Mantle. Reduce damage from fire and explosions.
Stopped howling.
Plus a skill point. I like that thing of the wind stopping there.
Time to get out of here.
You could say, oh, well, that's just a thing to, like, reset the puzzle or whatever, or to signify the puzzle's done in terms of gameplay. But in terms of in-universe stuff, that conspiracy that something supernatural was happening It's kind of, I like it. It's almost suggestive, or maybe there is some, that does feel a bit magical, doesn't it? That you push that thing down and now it's stopped. So maybe there is a greater power at work here. I wonder if that's what we're supposed to think of, you know, and there's supposed to be that little wriggle of doubt. That little suggestion that maybe something else is going on. So what's on my mind here is this whole time, okay, there's clearly some kind of item here. I think it's a cache, it's actually a document. It's near the base camp, and I'm thinking, you know, on the previous montage I cut, there was a mural right next to a campfire, and I sort of regretted not getting it the first time. It's not that important, because I could just fast travel back here later. It's a camp. But I'm thinking I'll get it first time. So we're going to wander around here for quite a while. Oh, Jesus, I'm trying to stifle a burp here. Sorry about that. We're going to wander around quite futilely. And eventually, just as a bit of a spoiler here, I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to put on Survival Instincts. And you'll see how good Survival Instincts is for just instantly finding a thing that you might be looking for. Like here, we're back towards the rope, and I don't want to get too far away. You know, I'm scanning these corners because I think it's a cache. I think it's just something I'll interact with on the floor, so I need to move Lara up to it. But yeah, over in chat, Thomas said, "Hey WP, I recently played this. What are your thoughts? You thought the tombs were great, but the story's quite lackluster." I kind of don't want to talk too much about the story until we get to the later episodes. I have a lot of thoughts on the story. As far as the episodes I've done so far, and the amount of the game that I've shown off so far, I think the story's been pretty good. And I would still have a very high hope for it, and I think it's been pretty decent. And, you know, the mysteries established by the previous game and all that kind of stuff, they're all ripe for the taking, and we've only just met Unuratu and Itzli. There's been a few weird little bits where it's like, okay, is Jonah a bit friendly with them a bit soon? Stuff like that. Is Abby, you know, maybe not doing very much? There are some little misgivings maybe, but generally speaking, the story so far is good. It's like I said in episode 1, though, I do think the story falls off quite quickly. And look at that. I just press Q, and boom, here it is. Here's the document. And the cache. So I'm a little bit worried here because the cache was never on the map, so Christ knows how much stuff we're missing.
Votan is an ancient Maya god of war and death. So old, he is rumored to have been old even before the beginning of time itself. He is usually depicted as having no teeth and being colored entirely black. Little is known about him, except that he likes to smoke pungent cigars. Interestingly, he is also the god who invented drumming.
A god that invented drumming and smoked cigars. I mean, if that doesn't give you a sense of how modern some of this stuff is, I don't know what does, right? Cigars? I mean, Jesus. When they say there's not much known about him, I mean, I really do believe that, you know? It's like when I went to Wiki to, like, look up Kukulkan. You know, a lot of people are familiar with Quetzalcoatl, but if you go to the wiki page for Kukulkan, it's just a couple of sentences, right? And a picture of, like, one depiction of it, you know, some stone carving. So, you know, I really do believe there's not that much information out there. But yeah, so there you go. That's the tomb. It was a good tomb, I think. Bunch of the side stuff. So here, I'm just going to grab this document. Again, the treasure chest we need a lockpick for. As far as I know, I can't get a lockpick yet. They're not for sale at the merchant or anything like that. So it's locked off to us. That'll be something for an actual montage a little bit later. We're nearly done with this, by the way, and we'll be into the live game. You know, I'll do a normal length episode here. It's just the first half of it will be this little sequence. But, a very long loading screen here. But yeah, if you remember the documents along this road here, these were all Trinity related. And in fact, one of the only times they've explicitly talked about the previous game was in one of these documents. Therefore, one of the most important things about coherency and continuity of the story was in one of these. So have high hopes for this. Could be very good. Site scrubbed, a Trinity report.
Attention, Dr. Dominguez. Search site, Mazaruni River, Guyana. 5.816587- 59.
I can't believe this. See, she's reading this. I mean, Jesus.
Discovered evidence of Maya migration. Upon subsequent investigation, site deemed a dead end. Actions taken. Site flooded by redirecting river. Locals recruited for labor eliminated. All trace of presence scrubbed. Other. Kick up at nearby village. Lethal response necessary. Area isolated. Site flooded. Appears natural. South American rivers rising due to climate change story seeded in media.
So you can see a little bit of their power there, that they can influence the media, just say it's all climate change, hide everything that they're doing. So yeah, not the most fascinating in the end, but I did have high hopes. And yeah, so no treasure chest. So we're missing a barrel, that tomb that we can't get into, and that's it. So I'm just going to go and cash in the quest now, and that'll be it for our little adventure here, and then we'll go back to the hidden city and see what we'll do. I'll be doing a little bit of live playthrough. Hello, Tulip in chat. You should probably finish the previous one because you fell asleep partway through. I'll try not to take that as an insult. You're pretty sure she mispronounced Guyana? How would I say that? Guyana? Guyana? Is that, are you supposed to do the U a little bit more? But yeah, I'm pretty happy so far. The Peruvian jungle, we have like 80% complete. Kuwakyaku, I think now is also around 80%. So it will just be some random little toys and trinkets. As long as the big main things are done. It's weird because I had the impression there were a ton of quests here, but in truth, this is like one of the only ones. What have we done? 2? In the DLC?
Pablo told me what you did. I don't know what to say, apart from thank you.
Of course.
You know, many years ago when my grandfather was still a boy, men came here and tried to cut down the wilderness around the village. Everyone was afraid to stand up to them, except my grandfather. A 15-year-old boy with an empty gun stood on the edge of the village and held back machines and men twice his size.
Sometimes the courage of one person can outweigh the cowardice of dozens.
This is a bit like Tank Man, really, isn't it?
The gun he used to hold them back. I'd like you to have it, as a symbol of courage and my gratitude.
Don't you want to give that to Pablo?
My boy wants to be a doctor, like his mother. Say, what's your name anyway?
Lara.
I'll have a new story to tell now, Lara. Thanks again.
Okay, so we get a River Hawk. A powerful pistol that deals high damage. Definitely going to equip this. It's a new gun for us, a new pistol. Now, I don't know much about guns at all. I really don't care. By the way, when I finished this, it highlighted that gold on the map, but we've already collected that gold, so I don't know, that kind of threw me off a little bit. Now, I don't know much about guns. I certainly couldn't tell you. I know Lara's iconic dual-wielding pistols, okay, and I know how they look. But I could never tell you what brand they are or who made them or anything. I wouldn't have even considered that would be a thing. But I'm pretty sure the gun he just gave us here, the River Hawk, is what Lara used to dual wield in the original game. Someone's going to say, no, WP, it's got the wrong grip or something. But it looks very, very similar. We're not going to be dual wielding it here. We're not going to be in like that iconic classic stance. But yeah, I'll equip it. Also here, I'm looking at the city, because what I was kind of considering just a minute ago is maybe extending this and just playing more and doing it all in post, but we'll do it live. Actually, I kind of just want to get back to the main story. Yeah, we've got 2 more skill points here. And what I want to do is buy more mixtures. I want to buy, like, because we have the perception potion, we can get some other ones. But yeah, I think I buy... What do I buy? Oh yeah, vestige outfits require fewer resources. I think the vestige outfits are the special ones we get from doing like DLCs and things. So there you go. I mean, we've got enough mechanics and gameplay to show off already. Right, so check it out. We've only got one bow that's not a DLC bow. But here, we've got the River Hawk. And look at that. That's totally one of her classic guns. Look at that. That is the Tomb Raider pistol, or one of them. It's interesting because in 2013, Matthias had... We got one from our first kill ever, and we got the other one in the final boss fight. I can't remember why Lara collects it. But you get to dual wield in that one fight in 2013. So in theory, she should still have 2 in her possession, but hey. So I've got a ton of resources, so I'll just craft it up. You'll see that there's the wrenches there, 1, 2, 3, 4. That tier 4, I can't do yet. We need to play a little bit before we unlock tier 4 upgrades. I'll keep the bow as the basic one. But moving in, remember we upgraded this, like on part 3, I think it was? We can now afford all of these. And a bit like constantly going in and out of the world map, it might aggravate people a bit, but I do apologize for this dong noise. But hey, it's the game, it's what it's all about. Here we've got 2 rifles. One of the DLC rifles looks really cool. I don't know if you guys saw there, but the silhouette for it looks nuts. But anyway, so upgrade this. I think it's in the middle of the... There you go. With the rifle, I'm sort of starting to run low on supplies. But this is good. This is the way you want to play the game so that you don't miss out on resources, constantly pressing E. And hearing Lara say, I'm already full of resources. I've already got too many. That's too much. So there you go. That's the adventure I just went on, really. Let's go in now. Basically, I just go to Paititi. And we're back in game. So let me turn that off. Let me unmute the normal game. So here we are, staring at the wall. We have returned, everybody. And I've noticed immediately there's a quest. Well, there's both a mural and a quest near us. There's the mural, clearly. I do want to do the main story here. We've done enough side quest stuff, but on the way, I mean, we may as well. Because Paititi is big. There's a lot to do here. Let's chip away a little bit at a time, you know. Of course, now we're on tier 3, ma'am. Am I rubbing?
The protectors failed, and are now doomed to recover what they lost.
Oh, there you go. Look, someone in chat. William Brady. She uses H&K USPs. It's basically a .45. The .45 represents the caliber of the bullet, right? Isn't that the thing? Yeah, I don't know. Well, there you go. There's a bit of info for you guys. Did you just wiki that, or do you just know that? By the way, what are your thoughts on the latest Tomb Raider? The film? You know what? I watched it, but I don't remember anything about it. And I think maybe that is review enough, isn't it? I mean, just completely par for the course, standard action adventure. Please, can we make some money back on our investment type of movie, right? Didn't really have much to say. I watched a movie last night that has something to say, though. It was... Okay, I'm going to tell you the title, and because to talk about this movie, I'm going to have to spoil its whole premise, okay? The movie is Let's Talk About Kevin. It's not a Christmassy movie at all. Not even remotely. So you're watching this woman, and she's trying to live her life. She's clearly gone through some kind of tragedy. And you think people would be sympathetic, but people in the town are, like, being horrendous to her, like attacking her and calling her horrible names. And it's like, what's going on with this woman? Why does this whole community hate her? What tragedy has robbed her of her family, basically? So you're like, what's going on here? Bit of a mystery in the film. Oh, there we go. That's just an archivist map. Oh, perfect. Yeah, this is what you want. So we get the map and it gives us these things. Okay, so now I'm going to spoil the movie. There's something about Kevin, okay? I'm going to spoil it. It's a 2011 movie starring the lady who plays the chosen one, the bald chosen one, whatever her name is, in Doctor Strange, and Ezra Miller. Okay, it's from 2011. If you've got any inclination, stop it now. But, so yeah, the twist with the movie is, well, it's not even a twist, really. The resolution of the movie is, it's a story of a mother who raises, like, a child that ends up participating in a school shooting. He's the perpetrator. He's the guy doing it. And so that movie really had a lot to say. I thought it was really interesting. It was it was a way of looking at this horrendous phenomenon that's going on in the States these days. And sort of having a bit of a novel take and saying, well, let's analyse the parents here. You know, and like, to what degree are the parents to blame for this? What kind of life do they lead? What's the life like afterwards for them? You know, tackle some really difficult and... Oh, there you go. We get another challenge. Condor feathers from nests. Questions, and it was definitely a cool movie. It was very gritty and sad and brutal, you know. But with subject material like that, that's what you're expecting. But yeah, so I think today I'll try and watch something a little bit more Christmassy. Tilda Swinton, that's it. That's her name. So Civil War, a depiction of a battle.
Maya and Inca stood shoulder to shoulder against their brothers on one side. Those who wished to retreat and start fresh, and those who wished to expand and conquer neighboring territories.
It's funny, in that movie, they have him, instead of using a gun, they have him using a bow and arrow, which is weird, because I started playing Tomb Raider today, I was like, oh god, and Lara with a bow and arrow. And to me, it feels very clear that the reason they did a bow and arrow instead of a gun is they wanted the conversation to be about, like, other parts of this, you know, this phenomenon. You know, the gun debate always comes up, right? And I think that they were just trying to avoid that eclipsing the whole conversation. So into the screenplay, they clearly wrote a different kind of weapon just so that it wouldn't become all about gun control. But yeah. An account of agreement between two peoples.
Ill-suited to the local land, the Maya's agriculture techniques of slash and burn soon led to a food shortage. At the risk of starvation, they entered into treaties with local pre-Inca tribes, gaining new technologies and crops. The traders arrived, bringing new goods, and then the farmers, with new crops and techniques. Eventually, as more and more of the outsiders arrived in Paititi, they eventually took administrative control.
So yeah, we've heard about this famine that affected the people here very recently. It was actually the catalyst for a lot of the change that's occurred and allowed Trinity to take over. And you'll constantly hear, you know, little things around that as we go along. Yeah, that's how you feel about the Tomb Raider film too. It was certainly a film and you remember nothing about it. Yeah, you know, I'm interested in watching the latest Jurassic Park at the moment as well. And I was reading some review about it online. And some guy's review was, I watched that movie, forgot about it, 3 months later, started watching it, and 10 minutes in was like, oh, I already saw it. That's how much he forgot it within just a couple of months. He had forgotten completely about the experience of having watched it. And, you know, like, I have that experience sometimes now, where I'll watch something, I'll be like, did I see this already? I can't, like, literally can't remember. And, you know, I've been getting really depressed and miserable about that. Like, honestly, to be serious for a second, I've been getting really worried and like, oh God, why am I forgetting stuff? Like, what? How is... Like, what's the point in having an experience and doing something in your life if you're going to forget all about it later? Like, it's nothing then, isn't it? It's gone for good. It's like, it's oblivion. It's very sad. It really depresses me. So, this has been happening with a couple of movies for me where I'm like, I saw that, but I don't remember anything. And I took a lot of heart reading that guy say about Jurassic Park. Because, you know, maybe it's not me. Maybe some of these movies are just terrible and completely uninspired. And once you get to a certain age, and once you've seen a certain number of movies, or read a certain number of books, or played a certain number of video games, it's just not interesting enough anymore. And it's not really your fault. It's just, this is not information you need anymore, you know? Like, if it didn't make an impact, don't worry, that's not brain rot, it's just a bad movie. That's what I like to believe. And I'll choose to believe that about the latest Tomb Raider as well, though I think, to be fair, as a big Tomb Raider fan, I probably should have stored some memory about it. Alright, a bit of Yucatec here, ritual staff.
This staff has a jewelry-rigged flintlock mechanism, similar to those from European firearms. The cultist priests must have used this during their ceremonies to awe the crowds.
Yeah, you see the rate of just getting relics and stuff we've got here. I mean, it is absurd, isn't it? It's very, very heavy. We could just keep doing it, but let's do some main story stuff here. Oh, there we go. We've unlocked the monoliths. Remember, we found a monolith very recently, and we couldn't read it. Well, now we are smart enough too. So that's good. You know, that whole thing where you learn the language and then you can read the monolith and then it allows you to do a thing? It's kind of a new edition of something they tried to pull off years ago in the classic era with Angel of Darkness, where the idea was... I remember reading press about this and thinking it was so cool as an idea. But, like, the idea is that Lara would, like, push a boulder and she'd get strong enough and now she can shimmy for longer and she can do more stuff. You know, kind of mixing RPG elements in. But it was done so badly in that game, it's unreal. I mean, I'll have to do a playthrough one day so I can properly explain that to you guys. Oh, I still can't make it out. Oh, that one's very special then. We need to be fluent in Yucatec. And we can't just ask the guys. So yeah, I kind of like this. It's sort of like they're just doing a better job of what once upon a time they tried. Christ, we got a long walk here. Actually, to tell you the truth, I still have survival instincts on, so if it just throws the waypoint up... It's not quite at the pyramid, is it? It's near the pyramid, I think. Oh my god, there's just things to do everywhere I look. Like, look at this. %. We are learning fast, though. First Contact, a depiction of the omens foretelling the Spaniards' arrival.
As it was foretold, heralded by the column of flame burning through the night, and the destruction of our temples, and the warnings of the weeping woman and the two-headed man, the strange warriors astride great deer arrived with the rising sun. They murdered the weak leaders and claimed the land and the people as their own.
This is kind of weird, because I would never expect to get this kind of information, setting information, off of one of these. You'd always think it would be talking about something mythological, you know? Something to do with their pantheon or whatever, but no. You'd pay good money so you could forget seeing the Lord of the Rings, just so you can experience it again for the first time? Yeah, people often talk about stuff like that. I think that's an interesting one, like, maybe everyone has an idea in their head of, like, if you could wipe your memory of just one thing and have it back, what would you pick? You know, and most people have that idea. I find there's quite a lot of stuff now, though, where I appreciate it a lot more the second time through. Or like there's sort of a certain nostalgia and like alternate love that starts coming in for a thing, and then it's all right again. There are a few things though where it's like, okay, if there's a twist involved, or if it's mystery, if it's like some kind of detective story, you know, once you know the thing, it's over kind of thing. Maybe there are some good answers. I swear I had something on the tip of my tongue just now. If I could forget it, I would in a heartbeat and do it again. I mean, it's easy to pick like your favourite game or your favourite book series or something, but I don't know, like, you run the risk, if it was something you played as a very little kid, you run the risk of not liking it or connecting to it now, you know? Because you're a bit more savvy and things are not as impressive as they used to be. And you're not even going to have the nostalgia.
The waters below protect me from the waters above.
Oh, here we go. So we got this clue. I love the colour of this monolith. Monolith clue revealed. The waters below me protect from the waters above. And it's something to the north. Well, how complicated is this going to be? I mean, Christ, it's just... I mean, look how good this game looks. It's unbelievable, man. The waters above me protect from the waters below. I'm assuming a cave behind the waterfall. I'm also kind of just thinking, Christ, let's just dive. Cheeky little swan dive here. Surely whatever it is, we'll just find it by swimming around. Hopefully we don't drown. This is actually much more of a swim than I thought it was going to be. Oh, there you go. Oh, no, that's just gold in the wall. Don't drown, Lara. How deep are we? No, we're not deep. It's a cave. The waters below protect me from the waters above. I swear I have a good answer to that question of something I would forget. Like, you often see it on Steam reviews and things as well, where someone's like, oh, I'm doing this for the first time, and people will say, oh, I really envy you. Oh, this looks cool. I don't think I've ever been down here. And people will say, oh, I wish I could forget so I could go back. You're in for a real trip. You're in for a good time. There's a franchise I started playing a little bit before that I really like. We can't swim through that. It looks like we're going to swim out. Oh, I know where this is. Whoa, guys, we're going to come back to this cave after this story sequence. This is literally where we're going to end a little bit of the story later. That's kind of funny. Yeah, a franchise I played a little bit of earlier in the year. And I kind of want to play a lot more of is Phoenix Wright. And I feel like that's one of those franchises where you can only really do it the once. Because after you've done it the once, you're going to know the answers, and it's, I don't know, it'll probably ruin it a bit. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I feel like we need to climb up or something here. It would be so cool if it was on that ledge there. But I don't know. This is something better, I think, for later when we can do it as a montage. Let's just take in the sights and sounds for now. This unbelievably heavenly location. And what we need to do is get up through these like paddies, these fields. So really we want to get up that staircase there, I think. And we can make our way to the barracks from there. Something collectible here. Shutter Island, you'd like to experience again? See, no, I think Shutter Island's a brilliant movie, but I don't need to wipe my memory for that to appreciate that again. In fact, that's a movie that, like, is usually... The thing is, usually twist movies and mind-bending movies like that, they're even better the second time through when you know where it's leading and there's so many hints and things you get. But the true beauty of that movie is that last line.
This is a traditional foot plow, still used in the Andes today, even outside Paititi. Sometimes the simple ways are still the best.
I remember this artifact. I get this on every playthrough, and I don't know, this one sticks out in my mind for some reason, the foot plow. I always find myself wondering if we ever use this in the UK at any point. But the true beauty of Shutter Island, I think, really comes down to the very end. What would be better, to die as a good man or live as a monster? Like, that's just such a great line. And obviously I've got to trot out the little trivia I do every time I mention that, which is it's not even in the book. That's a really good example of filmmakers tampering with and changing the source material, but they do it for the better. And after they've done it, even the original author's like, yeah, you have a better ending than me. I mean, how cool is that? I can watch that scene over and over and over and over again. And that song of that woman singing, the This Bitter Earth, that song, which I'm singing terribly to you guys there. That's one of the saddest songs I've ever heard in my life. Okay, look, this is Jonah's little cave place. Hello, Jonah. We do have this side quest. Let's see what these guys want. I'm not going to do it, but let's see.
Uchu, what's on your mind?
The day of Itzli's coronation is approaching. Soon he will be a man and take the first steps towards becoming Paititi's future king.
That sounds like a day to look forward to.
It's the hope for that day that keeps a lot of us fighting Amaru and his cult.
Sometimes we all need to remember what we're fighting for. Is there something I can help you with?
When Itzli's father Sairi died, Unaratu bestowed the honor of surrogate father onto me. One of my duties is to gather 3 sacred items for the ceremony.
But I'm lazy, so you do it.
With all that's happening right now, you aren't able to. What are these items?
They are the Savior's amulet, the champion's bow, and the king's horn. Each a blessing from the ancestors of the future king.
Tell me what you need, and I'll see what I can do.
I already have men retrieving the amulet and bow, but if you could find Kabil, the instrument maker, and get the king's horn from him, you would be doing us a great favor. He's been difficult. I sent 2 men and both have failed. Perhaps you could talk to his wife.
I think I can manage that.
Be mindful. Kabil can be prickly sometimes, but Abra, his wife, has a way of dulling his edges.
Okay, so we'll keep that in mind as we go forward. It's funny, Jonah didn't even, like, contribute in any way there. It's kind of funny the order that I've collected that in, that quest. It's kind of bad structurally. Obviously, it's so much more important that we go and we help Itzli right now than anything else, but there's an errand for us. Journal of T. Serrano 3.
29th of November, 1603. After dinner, Lopez left the city. I followed, worried he might not return. I found him standing by the riverbank, lips moving as though in prayer. Not wishing to disturb him, I waited. His communion with God must have lasted through the night, and I regret to admit I fell asleep, for the next thing I knew, Lopez stood smiling serenely over me, the morning sun behind him, creating a halo. He helped me to my feet and clasped me in a strong embrace. Truilos, I know where to find the artifact, he whispered in my ear.
Okay, all right. Let's just stop for a second. I do want to be very, very emphatic here for you all. We've looked at a ton of artifacts right now. We've had a little bit of fun, a bit of indulgence in the setting. This one is really important. This is like main story, big ticket item for this game, okay? Don't forget this. This is something to genuinely stop and wonder and chew on. 29th of November, 1603. There's a guy called Lopez, devoutly Christian, apparently in communion with God. They're looking for an artifact. And this journal is here in Paititi. Now, if we have a look... Oh, God, this is just not good, is it? Where? There's too many collections. They need to have, like, tabs. There need to be tabbed categories for us. Myth, magic, and art, metamorphosis, fortune and glory, conquerors, community in need, expedition unknown, mystery of the White Queen, Lara's notebook, the missionary. Okay, this is a new story for us here, the missionary. All right, and this is the first thing we've got from it. Who was this missionary? What is this story? Don't get this confused with the other adventure we heard about before, fortune and glory, going on in the Peruvian jungle. So yeah, okay. Lopez. Remember that name. Now, let's continue on. Okay, also, people in the live chat just made me think. Okay, and hopefully people in the comments have got good answers for this as well. Something, I do have an idea, something to forget. I think horror is the right genre to forget. Scary books, scary movies, scary anything, scary games, they lose their magic once you've seen them too much. I mean, there's kind of... I think that media... analysts and like just linguistically, I think the English language is missing some phraseology or some term that helps us differentiate when we talk about horror. There are actually two very distinct flavors of horror in media, I think. There's like entertainment horror, which is like fun, childish, almost like just indulgence in apparently scary things. Like the theme of horror, right? That's the kind of fun, goofy, whimsical stuff you'd experience at like Halloween. Jack-o'-lanterns and dancing skeletons and stuff like that, you know. Or like, and movies as well, like slasher movies and things that are gratuitously gory, but in a way that make you laugh and entertain you. That we call horror, but that's actually very different from horror that is there to make you scared, you know. Like The Exorcist when it came out, or The Grudge, or like when you find, or The Blair Witch Project, where there's kind of this very scary like level of authenticity that actually creates some real chills and some real fear, right? They're different things. So the whimsical thing, I think you can always enjoy on repeat. You know, you can take any horror movie and you can watch it over and over and over again and still love it for like that whimsy. But the actual terror, that will go away with overexposure. It will, you know. I mean, that it's literally that exposure therapy is how people get over, you know, fear of spiders or heights or whatever, right? If you consent and you put yourself in that position. So if you're going to wipe your mind, yeah, maybe go for something like that. Someone in chat just mentioned Soma, but that's because of like the existential philosophy of the game.
Uchu says it's at the edge of the mountain. He sent a rebel ahead to open it.
Thanks.
But, you know, maybe you can pick Soma. But actually, I think a really good game is Amnesia. Amnesia, to me, The Dark Descent, the original one, that is, when that came out, and the kind of hype and conversation around it, and what it did, you know, horror from the world of indie gaming back then, and what Frictional did, that was scary. That was a really scary game. And if you don't know anything about it, how any of the monster AI works or anything, that is an experience of a lifetime to me, that you'll never get back once you've played the game through, because... I mean, you know it. You're desensitized to it after a while. So, yeah, anything like that, I think, is probably one of the best things you can answer. Wait, what was that? Hold on. Why couldn't I tab into that? Wait, was that actually a relic or not? Oh, God. Oh, but I don't want to miss the content. Don't worry, I won't mouse through the UI. What I'll do is I'll rewatch the video and I'll see what it is. And on the next part, we'll open the video with it. There you go. I'll do it intelligently. I'm sorry. I didn't think I pressed tab too late there. I mean, how ranty am I getting here, honestly? So here we are. Another monolith. We should be able to read this too, all the side stuff we've been doing. And it's green.
Describe something nearby.
Same colour.
The youngest of four turns his back on his brothers, unable to speak as I lie in his mouth.
The youngest of four turns his back on his brothers, unable to speak as I lie in his mouth. Somewhere in these fields. The youngest of four. So what are there four of in this environment? Well, I'm thinking these structures. 1, 2, 3. There's only 3. I love how the water seemed to kick up there and smash the lens of the camera. That was kind of cool. The youngest of four turns his back on his brothers as I lie in his mouth. So we could be looking at these. But what pool would be young? Like, how would that work? What's necessarily a young pool? I mean, we're not talking about the actual people, are we? There's a guy standing there and he's got something in his mouth. Oh god, it's so cheating to do this, right? To just run around until you see you can press E. There's a basket there. We're still in range, right? No, we're not in range. This is fascinating, because there's really not much to play around with, is there? It's a flat open field. Hello, sir? Oh, wait. Something lying in its mouth. Maybe it is, actually. Hold on. If that counts as one. 1, 2, 3, 4. What if that's the fourth one? It's the lowest down. It's the youngest. Something lies in its mouth. There's a doorway, maybe? Is the doorway hidden around the back here? It's so here. Yeah, we got it.
This is great.
I should have trusted my instincts and just looked a little bit more careful. There you go. Monolith treasures found. Unfortunately, it was some kind of hide, of which I was already full on. But there you go. Nice little monolith. That makes me wonder what... It was probably something quite simple with the water one earlier as well. You love how we're just randomly vandalizing things. Yeah, I know. Well, it's funny as well because the game's tried very hard to not present that impression of Lara, I think. I love this here, by the way, this jump up to this.
Here it is.
Here we go. The inner stronghold. On our way to the mountain temple. More beautiful views and vistas on our way here. This is cool here, right? I don't know, this is a very obscure Tomb Raider thing right here, but has anybody played Tomb Raider 2 Gold? In one of the levels in Tomb Raider 2 Gold, there's a moment like this where you drop down, like this square geometry, and you're surrounded by cages with like Yetis and things in it. And that's what that little beat makes me think of. Okay, so we're technically trespassing now. And I'm forced to walk. We're so full. Have I got 24 medkits? 24! It's funny, the problem isn't going to be actually... Oh my god, is that our new pit? Oh, of course it is, because they've changed the model. Because that's what I chose to have equipped. Alright, I guess I'll fight with the new pistol. That is collectible. I thought it might be. Oh man, I really didn't know what to expect as we climbed up that. If there were going to be a bunch of people there or not. Sort of a leap of faith there. Yeah. Can you feel the changes all around in the earth, the air, even the water tastes of it? Yeah, the sun is dying. Soon this world will be erased.
I'm in.
Honoratu just left with Hakan. She'll be ready when you open the gate.
Here's a good answer to what I'd wipe my memory on as well. Genuinely, I mean, you guys might find this really banal and boring, alright? But at the end of the day, I am WP. I would love to wipe my memory of Guild Wars 2. It's like I was saying the other day, I don't know if it was in this show or in Final Fantasy VI, but I do have a hunger in me right now to have a genuinely, like, fresh experience playing, like, just a big open world RPG, going on an adventure and all that kind of stuff. And there's just, you know, I think about, like, that opening view of standing over Queensdale, level 1, or the whole world of adventure, no knowledge of any heart or any event or any shortfall or, you know, issue with the game. I think I would like to do that. Obviously, there's a lot of other sides of it. Oh, if I wiped my memory, I would have no expertise, and the thing people watch me for, blah, blah, blah. But ignore all of that. I think I would like to do that, just to have that fresh experience. I think that would be nice, because something is lost permanently from that game. So, maybe that. And it's funny, because I do think being in a position of ignorance does make the game look a lot better. It's weird. In the Spud Discord, people were talking about that game, and... their website, MMORPG,
Can't carry anymore.
did like a poll of like 2,000 people. So really quite a small poll. But they did it, and they put a tweet out saying that from that, their game of the year is Guild Wars 2 this year. And it was such a small tweet as well. There were only like 10 likes on the tweet. So I really don't take this as big news, to be honest. But, you know, the Guild Wars 2 subreddit was so happy about it, and the MMORPG sub was so happy. And it's nice to see the game getting accolades. If you can't learn to block, you must learn to like the taste of blood. But I do sort of think it's a bit undeserved, really. 2022 has not been a big year for that game. Not really. It came out on Steam, and the community obviously got very pumped and very excited about pushing it. And finally, it's nice to see a bit of word of mouth helping the game again after so many years. But let's be real, the only reason it got it is because they can't give it to Final Fantasy XIV twice. You know, no one wants to give it to WoW. It's just a very small scene. You know, I don't want to That is the last game in the world I would ever want to take away some accomplishment for, but I do think people sort of blew out of proportion a bit. He refuses to tell us where the rebels are hiding. His resolve's inspiring but misplaced. Okay, we can craft a smoke bomb here with fat and just the jar in our hand. It's a bit like the shrapnel thing from before. So I just don't want to get spotted when I pop up to throw it. Oh, this is good. Just throw it like so. So he's going to go that way. It's just like throwing a distractable. And then we can stealth kill him. Like so. And get 115 gold from the kill. I mean, Christ, that's so imbalanced. Oh, how did you see me? That's so imbalanced. You get 6 gold from a pickup, but 115 from that. But yeah, talking about to link those two conversations about Guild Wars together, if you could forget everything and you are fresh-faced just going into it, and you are ignorant to any product shortcomings, because, say, it just came out on Steam and you're all fresh about it, you are going to have a high opinion than really you should have, and, you know, it's I think that's a part of why it would even get a reward like that. You know, out of the 2,000 people, a lot of them would have been in that position. I do love that these games can go on years and years and years, though, and have these waves of appreciation. It's just up to the devs to trigger that influx in some way, that fresh wave of people. You can go free to play. Well, you can go on sale, and then once that's sort of old, you can go free to play, and then you can launch on Steam, and you can keep doing your expansions. There's not too much after that, so we'll see where they go after this. Just a bit more casual murder. This gun, by the way, is incredibly slow recoil. Oh, we got shot with an arrow. I do want to do just a bit of gunplay here, really, because... Oh, I remember this area. I have a lot to talk about here. Whoa. Oh, look, he's got one of those machetes. Oh, so does he. Remember the last part where we found one of those? And Lara was like, that would hurt to get attacked with? Well, there you go. That's me getting attacked with it. There's a heal. You'll notice here I'm going for the body. Aiming for center mass.
Now, I need to open that gate.
It's just like people do in real life, but also because the headshot doesn't even really matter if they've got a helmet, which you've got to knock off first. So how many kills did we get there? 5? 5 people we killed? Look at how enormous this area is. Look at how huge this is. Do you remember the end of 2013 when you had just these epic, massive arena sequences filled with people to fight, and it was like really pushing you to your limits? This is like of that size. Look at this. Look at all the platforming and climbing around and all this potential. But that's it, guys. 5 enemies. Like, I constantly had the experience in this game of thinking, oh, do you know what it is? We're going to have a mini fight here. I'm going to walk up and I'm going to have to backtrack and it will fill with... Look at this. Stealth walls I could use to kill people all over the place. But it's never that. It's never that you're going to backtrack through and then there'll be a bunch of other fighting. They're just these enormous places. It's like someone was tasked with building out the levels and someone else was tasked with populating it with meaningful combat. And somewhere along the line, there was a real mismatch. And it's just like... the two never really met. So this is very odd. And this is what the game's like a lot. It's run along artifacts, shoot 5 guys, and sort of wander through a massive room like this. You see? Hopefully I'm starting to illustrate what I'm talking about with this game now. I might have missed something in there, but I don't think so. Oh god, no, yeah, okay, I remember. I was gonna say, oh god, am I wrong? Is it a fight? It's not, those are our allies. Big little story beat here, coming up. Getting hit with a machete is one of your biggest fears, it makes you shudder. Oh, do I tell my big thing? I told this story way too many times online. My worst thing for, like, gore, and I really do recommend... Oh, well, I won't do it in a cutscene, hold on. If I'm going to recommend people to skip what I'm saying, how about we don't do it in the middle of a serious story? So here we go. This is the door. This is the eye. We place it in. The rebels get in position. They've got Itzli with them. And I guess the thing here is Lara wants to come back and help them out.
Mother! Would you get him out of here?
And indeed we do. I'm not quite sure what that moment was there where she says no. I mean, surely Lara could have messed them all up. They're not going to kill her, are they? She's like a political prisoner. So the roles are reversed now. Itzy's okay, but she's not.
Jonah.
How's Itzli?
Fine. They got him out, but Unaratu was captured.
Oh no. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm going after the box. I don't know how long it'll take.
Do what you have to.
Thanks.
So as we heard, the barracks are near the box. This is another gorgeous sequence. Whenever we get out and it's back to the jungle.
The Eye of the Serpent. That's it.
There is obviously this thing that's a bit hard to swallow where it's like, okay, you got an artifact to open a door to some secret place and it turns out to be an exterior. And it's like, what? Well, how does that work? I mean, anyone could climb over any of these cliffs and never need the key, right? It's always a bit silly, but you kind of have to suspend your disbelief with stuff like that. Okay, alright, I'm going to tell you guys my horrible, cringy thing, alright? And I'll stand here so you can skip. If you guys are squeamish, you might want to skip ahead. The thing I hate is it's this like urban legend, I guess. You know, there's that legend of people hiding razor blades in apples and you bite in and it's like... Talking about Halloween, I think that's like one of those like... Woo, fears, you know, urban myths that people will do that to kids with toffee apples on Halloween or something, you know, some terrible thing. There's another one like that, which is like people vandalizing water slides. This is really horrible. I've warned you. People vandalizing water slides by like getting a little razor blade, some like sharp little blade, and like digging it into the plastic of the slide with the sharp side up. So as you're sliding, I hate even saying this out loud. So as you're sliding over with like your wet skin, I'm going down the slide, and then it just slices down your whole body and just cuts through your flesh. I hate that so much. So I honestly makes me physically recoil to think about. It's just something about that. I don't know, the idea of like wet, soft flesh or something, and then that. All right, I'll stop talking now. I'll stop talking. But there you go. I hate that. That's my big one. And then I think the most horrific, probably, this isn't gross or whatever, but I think the most horrific thing, like way to be tortured or whatever, is being made blind and deaf, like fully blind, fully deaf, like after you've lived a life where you've experienced sight and sound. Like what kind of a life can you live after that? What kind of an experience you can have, you know? Like that is horrifying as well. Talking about like Soma and Amnesia and stuff, that's kind of what frictional games were good at. They've got a new Amnesia coming out as well. I don't know whether to give it a chance, because I didn't really like a lot of their new stuff. But hey, look at how good this is. I love the rushing rivers. This is like River Ganges, you know? From TR3. So we hit the temple. We're under the eye now.
Looks like this is the only way. Okay.
I mean, talk about keys with doors. I mean, Christ, what's the actual expectation here? I think we're just supposed to drop into the water, so you can lower yourself as much as you like, but it doesn't really matter. And in we are. Ooh, a little bit of frame drop there. Drop down the hole. Might have missed something in the water there, maybe some gold coins to collect or something. Is this the really beautiful vista? There's a moment, I mean, look at the light. There's a moment where you come out of a pool and you're just in the most gorgeous, unbelievable, like, basin. I think it's up here, isn't it? Oh, and the tropical birds. The rainbow coming off of the water. Oh.
Looks like there's a temple down there.
Cenote. If we jump on this, someone's already established the rope. Yeah, we're going down there. It's so gorgeous. Very, very cool sequence. In fact, I think there's just a hell of a swan dive we're going to do in a minute. Okay, we get another piece of the journal of Serrano.
26th of November, 1603. At dinner, Lopez asked me if I believed these heathens were worthy of the artifact's alleged power. I had to admit that the Paititians seemed noble and industrious. However, their taut skin, stretched tight over sinewy muscles, and lack of shame made them more similar to beasts. And what of our leaders in the society, he then asked. Should they be able to wave their perfumed and ring fingers in any direction and expect us to obey, to return and sit at their side when they beckon? Do they not treat us as inferior beings, as beasts as well? I had no answer. What he'd said was heresy and treason, but in some way, I wondered if it wasn't the truth.
So if you guys can't track this too well, because this is obviously 2 and we already read 3, they give you these out of order. I think what will be really nice and really useful for us is once we've got the collection, we'll go through them one by one. The main storyline will make things a little bit clearer for us as well, as far as this one's concerned. Here we got a campsite. Will Lara chat?
Unuratu captured. What's Dominguez gonna do with her? As long as he needs the box, he'll keep her alive. I hope.
There you go. You always got to wait. Can't do commentary. You got to wait. She might say something. I just noticed here that the dialogue as it goes, her lips don't move, which is kind of funny. 2 skill points again. Oh, Lord. Craft lure traps on enemy corpses. These will attract and kill nearby enemies with shrapnel explosions when triggered. I guess we'll pick this one up. So the Viper's Snare. Hold middle mouse near a corpse to craft a trap. If you saw my playthroughs of the other games in the reboot trilogy, you'll probably remember that. So yeah, this campfire, this seems pretty good as a place to stop. It is a very cool sequence we're coming to. Things are going to get creepy a little bit again. Yeah, we'll be at the barracks. There's just lots of fun stuff. I am going to have to stop it here, though, guys. I got a little bit too comfortable there and realised I've got something to do. And there's been a bit of a weird episode because obviously we started with the 40-minute, like, post-commentary bit. But thanks very much, guys. Thanks for the conversation. I'd love to see what people have to say in the comments. And, you know, it's funny. I'm doing this and Final Fantasy, both series at once at the moment. And, this is such a new game, and it's such a gorgeous game, and it's such, you know, Final Fantasy VI is from 1994, and it's funny, like, I get so many comments on FF6 at the moment, and this is definitely the quieter of the 2 series, which is such a shame in a way if you think about it. But yeah, so anybody who's contributing, anyone who's watching these, thanks very much. I won't do a really long outro because I don't want the playlist to be too tedious to go through. Thanks very much. I'll see you on the next one very soon. I hope you guys are ready for Christmas and stuff. And I'll see you very, very shortly. Take care now, guys. Thanks very much. I'll see you soon.